Our good numbers for June and July were all because of roofing jobs.
Yeah. We just hit 7 figures not a couple weeks ago.
It's a big deal.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
3 years old, $1 million we build.
Yep. We have found over the course of time that 30 yards can be very nice if you're logistically able to schedule these jobs and be on time and have great communication. I mean, who do you think, as of now, have become some of our best clients, and what type of companies do we target for 30 yards?
You know, one of the things that we stayed away from with the driveway dumpsters, and we still will, is roofing jobs.
Yep.
And our good numbers for June and July were all because of roofing jobs.
Yeah.
And that was, ironically, was leaving that same C&D landfill when I got the phone call for the Kenworths, because I was checking them out to see if we wanted to do any kind of roofing there. I do not want to send driveway dumpsters into the landfill at all. We got to gel the tires if we want to do it. It's really hard and rough on these trucks that are 5500s and 6500s, and they take more of a pounding, if you ask me, than the big with the Kenworths do, right? I understand we're sending them to the same place, but the Kenworths are just more, they're bigger, they're more durable. They're built more for that. So we decided, and we're only doing it with one of the Kenworths, that we're gonna go to the landfill. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna take a shot. We invested in these dumpsters. And these dumpsters, when we got them, were from doing roofing jobs in the past. That's what this company did that we bought them from. So we said, let's just take a shot. Let's start sending them there. So some of our bigger customers have been large roofing companies. And we've had some large companies who sell the roofing material, and then they've been calling us to pick them up. And that's part of the marketing, because I think when people are, and those people are calling, one was from Tennessee, one was from Wisconsin, they're finding us on the webpage.
Yeah, because they're out of state. They're looking up, 30-yard dumpsters in Dayton or wherever that location is, and that's where, on the website, we have that all set up to kind of handle that, and we're the number one person in the area, so we're the first person they're going to call, and that's the goal. Booking online is, a really easy experience for a lot of people as well, and that's what allows us to kind of, in the 30-yard world, we had to realize, some of these companies do value that side of it more so than just the dumpsters and the pricing behind that. Residential, we have the mindset of pricing is pretty much the only thing that matters. You can't really outprice yourself because your dumpsters are prettier, or anything like that. You can't really price it higher because of that, because people just care about the price.
Only thing they care about is price.
Yep. And it's just, we have nice equipment and we have wonderful drivers. Communication all around is great. And the whole point of that was we don't overprice ourselves because we have better dumpsters than someone else, or our drivers are better at communicating than other companies. It's just, we understand still, these people only care about price. We had a bit of a discussion when we first got started, if we were going to do roofing with the 30 yards there for a little while, just because we knew what type of taxing it did on our original equipment. And it's worked out very nicely, having these roofing clients, and our current trucks, handle up to 50,000 pounds. So there was no reason not to do it.
No.
So, and they've, we found, I think you told me the other day, we had 7 people booked and 6 of them were repeat clients.
And that's one of the reasons why when it comes to business and pricing and all that, I would be hesitant right now to raise prices on driveway dumpsters.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too hesitant if we said, let's jump up, another $20 a dumpster on the 30s. I think you might have 1 or 2 people complain. I don't think it's going to change a thing if we decided we wanted to do that right now, or going into next year if we want to raise prices. And we've talked about that in the past too, to where it's just the 30s separate you. That's when you get into the big boy range. Right? That's the men from the boys. That's you have to have more insurance. You have to have a CDL. It takes money to buy those trucks, so they're not cheap. And you can't just go get a 2005 F-250 and start pulling dumpsters. You're gonna have to put some money into it. You got to have some backing. You got to know some people. You got to know where to get them. You got to have some credit in order to do that. And I think that's where you start to separate yourself. And when you start looking out there, especially in our area, there aren't nearly as many. I would say there's
even
25%.
Yeah, one of the biggest companies in our area, they have, I was told they have around 100 dumpsters. They don't have any 30 yards in their fleet. So we've kind of talked about some of the successes with 30 yards. I mean, how do you feel like our residential dumpsters have worked out? Because I know originally when doing projections for this year, which for everybody concerned, we actually are over on our projections, but I originally projected our residential dumpsters to do the exact same that we did last year. So no change. Do you feel like we've kind of stayed pretty busy and like on top of residential, or?
It's been successful. It's not, but we haven't been.
Yeah, it hasn't
It's
been
almost when like they need a branch manager, right? Just to push the whole driveway dumpster
Yeah.
thing. And I think because revenue is a little bit lower on those, and most people when they call, all they want is the cheapest dumpster.
Yeah.
What's your 14-yarder? What's the price? Oh,
It's
that's a
even
good price.
before where someone may have booked a 25-yard dumpster on a website that's just a residential. Some of those people are booking the 30-yard dumpster just because they are priced
True.
so nice. So it's like it does
True.
take away from it a little bit, but it does still feel like we've been at, I want to say maybe like a 90% book rate for like the weekends, because not every weekend I'm shutting off a residential, but I know last week, I shut off Thursday,
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday and Sunday for 14, 20, and 25s. And 30 yards actually that was probably one of the first weekends where we had to shut off 30 yards.
I think we could be 100% if we still pushed it
Yeah,
hard
absolutely.
enough. I mean, that's one
Yeah.
of the things that's.
It's just like, I mean, we're almost at 100% for our 30 yards. So it's just like we've put so much time. And even like getting into that a little bit, officially we just hit 7 figures not a couple weeks ago. So for the year, so we're officially a 7-figure business. And
It's a big deal.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
3 years old, $1 million that we build.
Yep. To get these trucks, we had to go to the bank, build projections and everything. So took that as serious as we could. We had projected this year that we would do 1.29 for revenue.
Yeah.
We're on track to do 1.38. So we're actually over hitting our projections, which is a great position to be in. I mean, we only missed 2 months on revenue, May and September. Both were under $5,000 revenue misses, but that's July we actually overhit by $33,000 that month based off what I had projected, and same thing with July, another $16,000. So we had so many wins that these less than $5,000 loss in revenue is based off projections at least is very minimal. And the bank already knows. I mean, we've done this a couple times where I've had to go in, make projections, and we've hit all of them. There hasn't been one we haven't hit as far as like, when you look at the year picture, it's like we're spot on. And we've actually, the first projection we did, we overshot that one by a lot. I can't remember what we were purchasing. It might have been our first forklift truck actually. I remember having to do one like that we did very well on.
It's kind of funny because I just had a conversation with our banker because we have a dumpster at her house right now.
Really?
Yeah, and I told her, I said, the only reason you ever approved me is because you knew you were going to need a dumpster, and you're wanting some great deal. She's like, yeah, just give me the dumpster. But yeah,
that's what's kind of helped out. And we have such a great relationship with them, and we built such a great relationship with them because they know how hard we work and the effort we put into it, and what we put on paper. It's like that's our goals. It's not just what we put on paper. So
right.
The other side of that of like knowing when to get new dumpsters, obviously you have the calls that come in, you have, like the relationships with contractors, like he just said. The flip side of that is also like understanding your marketing, because, my side of it, like when we got the 30-yard dumpsters, I was super confident that, okay, if we spent this amount of money, we could get these rented. So it's like really, it's a good idea to be like in tune with marketing, or like the marketing person you have, or certain things like that, of like knowing like when there's an opportunity to spend more and get the the return on investment out of that as well. And that's part of my job, and like what we've kind of done is like identifying those opportunities. Like, hey, I mean, I think we should get more residential dumpsters, or the big thing right now is like the 40s and concrete dumpsters. For me, seems like a bigger opportunity to get those dumpsters. Like just this morning, I don't know if you've looked at it yet, but there's an email about this guy wanting a concrete dumpster, and sadly we don't have it. We were supposed to, but the A-frame was wrong sizing off the ground and whatnot. But we're getting, that's the dumpster we don't do. It's the dumpster our trucks can handle, concrete dumpsters. So they didn't find some of those opportunities for different markets that we're not currently in.
If we were going to start over and you can only do one dumpster, I would definitely do 30s.
Yeah.
If they said you can only have a second size dumpster, as many calls as we get, I would probably, maybe I would do a 10.
Yeah.
I mean, from a marketing standpoint, hey, you can only have 2, because we just get a lot of those phone calls. Again, we upsell them to 14s, so, but majority of them are 30s for sure. The next step is usually a 14 to a 20 because they know what they want.
Yeah.
I mean, but the most asked for that we don't have are definitely 10-yard dumpsters. I think if we would have started with 30s, we wouldn't be doing as well as we are now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
because we wouldn't have put the time and effort into the customer service, the marketing, the knowledge, the map. We'd have been just like, oh, we're just sticking to 30s. That's all we're doing. I mean, but we had to go down there and fight. With everybody else, and I think we learned a lot from that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't change how we did it at all.
Yeah.
But if we started big, I don't think we would be nearly as proficient or as good as we are.
Yeah. And we haven't really discussed this yet for 2026, but like as far as like me and you specifically, but
we're not doing it.
As far as
I know you want me to spend more money.
I'm just saying, like, what do you think are some of our future growth plans? I mean, you kind of touched on it a couple, like, the 40 yards, the concrete dumpsters. That's going to be more of like a 2026 thing, potentially more 30 yards. And then also, I mean, we've kind of talked about it a little bit, like adding on another 30-yard truck. I mean, do you think like those 4 things are sort of in the plans for 2026?
I'm still torn. What a new truck would get us is good reliability, right? It should be up and running.
Yep.
I could go with less of a bigger truck.
Yeah, we talked
and
about
get
that.
Better gas mileage.
Yep.
Maybe not be able to pull 50,000 pounds like our current trucks do, but it would be, the majority of our 30-yard dumpsters are anywhere between 3,000 to 6,000 pounds.
I was just going to bring that up. When we first got started and getting into this, we definitely thought our disposal was going to be a lot higher.
Yes.
And it hasn't really turned out that way. But I think all in all, just the volume we have gotten from 30 yards has worked out, and we haven't really had to shift our pricing or direction because of that.
No, I mean,
it's definitely interesting that it came out that way.
One of the things we haven't really talked about is that we entered into this market. Now, we've discussed profit margins and what we think we should be and how we want to be there, but we've also had a pretty good idea where we needed to be price-wise.
Yeah.
And haven't had to vary from that or go up and down or be,
Nope.
And so with the overages and with knowing where we're at, I mean, that's another thing too, is we haven't overextended ourselves to where I haven't had to go to a bank and get like, oh, we got to cover payroll, or we got to do this, or we got to do that. We are pretty laser focused on where we need to be and how we're going to manage it, how we're going to manage drivers. So we don't make bad decisions. Most of our decisions are well thought out, a couple weeks, couple months ahead.
I think the biggest thing that allows us to do that is the overhead. Like what we've kept it so low. And there's been some opportunities where we've thought about increasing overhead and certain things like that. And I'm started second guessing it, so we hadn't done that. And I think for the most part, it's like sort of worked out. Just having like the 2-yard rentals and just keeping our overhead low, so it allows us to kind of be smarter in other areas.
I think that's what we're going to do next year.
Yeah, the 480.
Probably the 480.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe if we find a deal on a used one, I'm still torn. I mean, so we got to figure out leasing, buying new, or buying the used, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to have to fit in our wheelhouse. If we buy a used, is it going to be able to pull our current dumpsters, or how do we configure the pistol grips or the stops or whatever you want to call them. Is it going to work? I don't know. I would be more towards buying a new one and just financing it out for 5 to 7 years, whatever is possible right now, and keeping that truck as our, and maybe not using, like knowing it's going to be like a third truck. Let's keep it back. Let's just use it, a couple times a week. And then let's run the crap out of these Kenworths. But if we're getting really good gas mileage out of it compared to the others,
there might be some
maybe
jobs.
we run up more. Maybe we make it our long trip, our Cincinnati runs, our Eaton runs, our Greenville runs. I don't know. We'll have to figure that one out.
Covering the whole video here, what we've sort of talked about, getting these 30-yard dumpsters and at the position we did, I mean, what would your advice be for other dumpster rental company owners that are running 10, 15, 20 yards? I mean, should they sort of consider going big and jumping in the 30 yards, or what's your viewpoint?
When we were making this decision, we knew that going to 30s was going to separate us from other companies.
Yes.
It put us into the competition really dwindles. Even one of our driveway dumpster people, competitors, major competitors, they have a 30-yard dumpster and it's 8.5 feet high. I mean, I have drivers who are like, there's no way I'd drive that truck. It's unsafe. If that thing got top heavy, I don't hope it doesn't happen. I really hope that does not. But they are offering 30s, but they weren't really offering 30s. Now, as we discussed, a lot of our customers are only one-time customers. If I rented a 30 from them, it would only be one time because I'd be like, there's no way I'm climbing
especially
over the top
if you've gotten
of that,
other 30
throwing
yards
stuff over the top, and it's a waste of space. However, our competition, and most of the 30 competition are the big boys, and I mean the really big boys, the national names, right? In Cincinnati, and there's one national name everybody knows. They get a lot of the business. The people we take our trash to our C&D landfill, they get a lot of business. They're not as well known as some of the other ones who own trash companies, but you've really reduced it down. And people are tired of using them, and that's why I think we get so much business from outside. What we talked about, Wisconsin, Tennessee, Pennsylvania. I mean, all these people calling us, these construction companies come in, they don't want to use those guys. It's not even based on price. I would bet money I could raise our price to match the big boys, the really big boys, and they would go with us. That's where driveway dumpsters is all about price. 30-yarders and construction dumpsters, service means something.
You know, taking this risk, it's been very beneficial for everybody involved here. I mean, everything that we could imagine working, it has worked. So, you know, sort of to in the video here to the audience, I mean, would you have bought those 30-yard dumpsters? I mean, would you have started with 30-yard dumpsters from the get-go? I mean, just drop your comments down in the comments, and you know, feel free to ask any questions for us as well. We're pretty engaged in the comments down below. Also, in the description of the video here, we do have a Facebook group for dumpster rental owners. So make sure you check that out, get involved in there. I mean, Todd and I, both in there as much as we can be. We're both admins in there, so try to help out people where we can. So other than that, just stay tuned for the next video. We plan on doing a lot more.